Greetings and welcome back. This is Douglas Rosenthal here with you again of the Rosenthal Law Firm. And today I would like to discuss with you the aspect of filing for political asylum here in the United States. Now, political asylum is essentially defined as having a well-founded fear of persecution based upon one of 5 enumerated grounds, those being race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. Now, what goes into a good political asylum application? Before we get into that, I would also like to explain to you that there are 2 ways to file for political asylum in our U.S. system. The first is called an affirmative filing. That is an application that is filed with the asylum office. And a second is a defensive filing. That is, if you have already been placed in immigration proceedings, deportation or removal proceedings before the immigration court, you can file for political asylum defensively. Now, I am not going to get too technical in this video and describe for you all of the various details and nuances about political asylum, but I do want to describe to you the overall purpose and best way to give yourself the maximum opportunity for success in filing for asylum. And essentially, the way a colleague has described it to me is, asylum is nothing more than storytelling. That's right, it is telling a story. The better you are at telling your story or elaborating on your asylum claim, the more success you will have before the immigration court or before an asylum officer. So let's get started. If you are filing for political asylum, part of your asylum application should be included is an affidavit or a statement which enumerates chronologically in a storytelling way what happened to you and why you believe you deserve protective haven here in the United States and not to be returned to your country on account of your particular well-founded fear. Now, with regard to telling the story, a good story is made up of details. Generalities with regard to asylum are simply not going to do it. You must have specific details. When somebody is reading your story or when somebody is listening to your story, they must believe, you must have it almost as if they are holding your hand and you are taking them through your experience as you went through it in your home country. If it can be that vivid, if it can be that lively, then you have given yourself the maximum opportunity for success. Now, details are one thing. They're excellent. However, you must also have something else, and that is documentary proof or support to every detailed and specific fact that you suggest. Clients say to me, why do I need documentation? Because anybody can tell a story, but not everybody can get authentic, genuine documents from their home country to support the story that they're claiming. It cannot be a fabrication. It must be true. And documents, for the most part, will back up your story. And that is why some documents also go for what's called forensics. They check, the immigration authorities will check and see whether or not your documents are genuine and true, and whether or not the documents that you have put in and submitted are in fact good documents to support your statements. Now, if you have a detailed story and you are able to recount your story. Some people, I have read their claims and their claims sound like they are a winning claim, and yet when I ask them questions about their claim, they cannot recount to me. They do not remember any of the details. If your story truly happened to you, if it was a life-changing experience, then you must remember all of the details that happened in your story. You must be able to recount them without hesitation. You must be able to be forthright and give blow by blow what happened to you. And every time that you say, oh, this happened to me on this particular date, you should be able to draw out a document and say, look, this is the document that pertains to it. Either a medical record or a particular notice or a letter that was involved. There should be something that pertains to every detail in your claim. Now, I'd also like to suggest to you as we close this particular segment with regard to political asylum, that when you are at the asylum office, if you have filed affirmatively, You have gone there for an interview. That essentially is a fact-finding mission, if you will. That means that the officer is there to draw out facts and to clarify the claim for you. However, it is my opinion that once you get into court, when you are being cross-examined by the trial attorney, by the lawyer for the government and the immigration authority, you must feel as if, again, this is my opinion, they are your enemy, which means their whole purpose, their whole particular job and duty is to demonstrate that you are not credible. They are trying to find certain inconsistencies in your testimony before the court to show that you in fact do not deserve political asylum. And therefore it is imperative that you have an experienced attorney represent you in order to be able to rehabilitate your credibility and make a good, strong closing argument on your behalf if allowed by the court. That's why we recommend that you go out and seek experienced counsel before you file for political asylum. Even though it sounds easy, it's storytelling, but it has to be done right. We here at the Rosenthal Law Firm have represented many asylum seekers, and we can help you. Remember, our telephone number is 212-625-8300. Call us with any questions that you may have. We're located in downtown Manhattan at 350 Broadway. That's 350 Broadway on the second floor, a block and a half from Federal Plaza, the immigration building in downtown Manhattan. We look forward to hearing from you, to answering your questions, and to hopefully guiding you through the process of filing for political asylum.